welcome back to another podcast on the Invisible Ache. When I tell you that this book has been bringing some emotions and thoughts, some challenges, it'd be an understatement to say that. I'm joined with the crew, and we're gonna dig completely right in. We've been talking off air before, so some of the stuff we might say, we might have to repeat a little bit again. But I do want to start out with one of my questions that I had asked earlier, is that the book talks about as black men and black boys, that's the number one killer is suicide. And so we talked about finding safe places, finding people that you can talk to. And I'm going to throw that question out again. How do we find that safe place or that place where we can be vulnerable? And also, how do we become one of those people that opens up our doors to be vulnerable? So I'll throw that out there.
I think as we were talking earlier, Brother Shields hit on the main word, discernment, and being able to, decipher, when to say what person to open up to, what environment to open up to, and if you can trust this person or not. And I think the thing I was kind of saying, it's a real vulnerable thing to do, to just open up to somebody because you don't know if you can trust this person.
And you don't want to be hurt.
You don't want to be hurt. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a big thing.
And so I think for me, I was just thinking, do I just keep being vulnerable and keep trying, keep getting hurt, going back, trying again? Almost like in relationships, that's what we do, right? We keep trying to find it. But I guess I'm saying, like, how do I know that, or will I ever know? Maybe I won't ever know that Shields is the person that I could cry in front of, that I could, let it all out with him and still be good the next day, or not be worried like, oh my God, I hope Shields don't tell somebody that I just lost it. Talking about some of those things.
I was saying before the pre-prep that a lot of being guarded takes more energy than it does to be vulnerable. Like always walking around wondering, I wonder what they're going to say or what they're going to do, takes more time and more mental than it would to just be yourself and be vulnerable and take a chance.
And I think hurt it's okay to be hurt, right? Or no? I mean,
yeah,
definitely.
It's part of life. You're not going to avoid that.
And that's one of the things I think that we wear as like a mask too. Like it's not okay to be hurt, or that being hurt as a man is like a bad thing. But
crying like a man.
Or crying, it's like a bad thing. But I think that builds character. I think that in the place of being hurt, you find yourself in places that you wouldn't even look. If that hurt had not happened to you. Because it's uncomfortable in certain situations, and most time growth comes from being uncomfortable, and it comes from being hurt. A lot of that stuff starts at being hurt, whether it's being hurt in a relationship. Now you know how to maneuver in your next relationship. Being hurt in a situation at your job. Now you know how to handle this. Go about it this way, other than going about it that way.
Man, just stubbing your toe.
Man,
stub your toe. You feel like you want to hug somebody.
I think the reset is. I think the hurt is like the reset button.
Okay.
Like something happened, now it's like the pivot point. Like, where can I go next? So that's how I look at it.
So, is there something that we should do? Like, if you're looking for somebody, right, to say, I really just need to talk to somebody, or I need to really cry with somebody, or I need somebody to hug me, or I need this man to do whatever. What do you look for in that person?
I don't really know, cause like I said, like this never happened to me. Like, well, I won't say I never been hurt, but I don't never go to nobody. Like I just bottle it up. Like we talk about, like when men don't never go to nobody, they just bottle it up and keep it to themselves. I just really keep it to myself. So I never look like that far into like, oh, I should go to him. He probably be a good person to help me out. I just bottle it up and like, nah, I don't tell nobody. I just get through this.
When you forget about it, it passes.
Yeah.
Or at least you think it passed because now it's not in your toe.
Yeah.
So it's similar to the Coke can thing. I keep shaking it up because I'm like, oh, now it's okay. The fizz done settled. But it's still there, though.
Yeah, it's still there.
But, so would you so that's hard, right? To say, I look for a person that got these qualities. What about you?
I was going to see what he said. Like, it's kind of hard for us to know, like, who to go to when we feel hurt. Because we don't know, like, if they're going to diminish our feelings, then we're going to be hurt again. So usually they just keep bottled up. We don't know like what they gonna do, like what their reaction gonna be when they see a black man cry or something or be hurt or something.
because we, as chapter 1 talked about, we've been told to man up all the time.
Condition,
Yeah. So one of the quotes that was in there was, we spend our whole life living, building. We spend our whole lives building a fortress to survive the war, but we never realized the war ended years ago, and now we're just a king sitting alone in a cold castle because we held so much in. And as you said, I've been like this watching, so nobody gets near me, nobody gets close to me. That if I would stop and think, I would see that I'm really alone. Like I'm by myself. And I don't think I know it's not a good feeling to feel that way, but what do we do with that?
But I think that's that mask right there. Because I have to continue to live, so I'm going to convince myself that I'm okay alone. I'm okay with that.
I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody.
Yep.
And the sad part about that is it becomes, I think you said generational, was the word you used.
Cyclical.
Cyclical. Yeah. So if I got kids and I've made myself alone, what does that do for my kids?
Make the kids alone.
Yeah, and it kind of go back to what you were saying as far as what generational traits are we passing down to our kids. You know, it make our kids think that you got to endure this much pain, you know, in order for it to be called love. You have to endure this much, you know, you tolerate this much, you know, in order for you to call yourself a man.
Yeah.
Or you got to go about it this way in order for, you know, that's what make you into a man. And that can pass down, and that can hurt. That can hurt kids. That can hurt families, you know, not knowing how to come out of certain things and I know how to work through certain things.
But like we were talking about too, though, the older men, and I'm talking about what would be my father, who was 70, who would be coming on 80, and grandfather's age, he'd have been in his late 90s now, almost 100. Those guys were raised with a totally different lens and conditioning.
Yeah.
And we were expecting things from them that we would not have gotten even if we tried. Because
so much has changed.
so much has changed.
I mean, even if you think about, like, I think about, like, if my grandfather was here and I was like, look at my iPhone and let me show you these things I can do on Gemini or on, my grandfather would probably be like, what, you know? And so they weren't raised like that. So they only could give us what they know or what they know enough to give us. But in your generation, if you think about it, y'all gonna have kids eventually, and they're gonna do some stuff. I just saw on TV today they're doing pet dogs and cats that are robotic, so that you don't have to have a real one to clean up after. You know, and then you go to like your granddaughter's house and they got a pet robot dog running around. You're gonna be like, what is this?
What is this?
Yeah.
So we keep losing this connection, and I don't know how to bring that connection. So if as a grandfather, before I was a father, I endured slavery, endured redlining, endured all these things. All I know how to do is just be cautious or to fight. Because that's all we do is fight or flight, right? And so then my son comes along, and I teach him how to fight, because that's what I know. Then you come, and you're like, no, it's so much more, but we got to figure out this. I want to show some emotion. And we're like, what?
And that's where we are right now. It's change the guard is happening, where at least these young brothers right here are in the conversation, reading the book. And I think that we do it in the classrooms, too. So they're getting a change. The hard part is going to be not doing what the past has done accidentally, because it's in them. They have to be intentional.
Yeah, I said earlier, at one point they did to us. They did the redlining. They did, you know, all those things to us. But now we do it to ourselves because we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned that that's the right way to do it, or it's the right way not for you to cry. It's the right way for you to work hard until you fall over and die. It's the right way that you don't go to the doctor and seek any help. It's the right way that therapy, you don't do that. And we're losing each other so quickly because we don't have these type of conversations.
And that's so true. You got situations where that, you know, the way some of our parents was raised, some of these kids that when they career choice is podcasting to their parents is like, what? Because they've been where you work a job, you get you a pension,
and you stay on
you're
it for 30 years.
and that's what you do, you know. But the way they see in life is like, man, this kid is 11 years old and they a millionaire from podcasting. I'm not. This is the route that I see. This is the route that I want to go. And again, from how our parents are conditioned, it's hard to get out of that mentality and try to shift an entire generation. I think they said the millennials might have been the last generation to have experienced, going outside, playing in dirt, going to parks, being born with the technology, the computers and everything like that. It's like the millennials had that, both of them. And you guys were just born where, y'all parents were scared to send y'all outside because the city's so dangerous.
Yeah, whereas we used to be able to say.
Yeah, for me, my parents now like they don't like. Well, I won't say they don't see me outside, but like they barely like me going outside because it's so dangerous. They don't know what's gonna happen, or if somebody try to make me do something that I don't want to do, try to make me join the gang or something like that. Like they just barely don't want me to go outside, but they still let me because they know how like outside was fun for them and stuff like that, and they want me to meet other kids and stuff like that.
But they still worry. I can tell you that for a fact.
They still worry
because every time you look at the news, a black kid is killed or a black kid is shot, or just so many things that keeps happening. Mistaken identity. So the thing for me is they also bring up like when you, in the book about like Trayvon Martin and those deaths, that how we connect to those, and when we connect to those, it gives us a different sense of like fear. So as a parent, once I saw that, I was like, don't put your hoodie on, don't cover up your face, make sure, if the police, and I'm always thinking, if the police stop you, you got to do this, or make sure they don't do, and it's not because the police are the villain, it's because it creates this fear of, we just ain't winning. That's the best way I can say it. I just don't feel like sometimes we winning through this.
And it hits exactly on chapter 7 when he mentions like, being how he was raised with his grandfather, and then his grandfather ended up, going to jail because, the uncle had told the mystery with his grandfather. His grandfather ran from the police for some years, and that was the stigma on their family. And the conversation he had was, it's not about if my kids are going to get stopped. I had to give them a conversation of when you get stopped, because it's going to happen. And it's one of them things like as far as like identifying ourselves and how we see ourselves. And man, I was listening to Nipsey, man, said one time, and he was like, man, it's one of them things how like we see ourselves kind of like the same. And one of them times when you riding, you might be riding looking for an enemy. It's sad as it sounds, you're looking for yourself. Like you might ride and you might see somebody who you think is a square, got a suit on, town, you give him a pass. But when you see the dude pants sagging, hat cocked to the side, got a look, step in his walk, you say, there you go, right there. Because it's like, it's a mirror. You looking for a person that identifies you and look like you. So it's like we become what you said at first. They were doing it to us, and now we doing it to ourselves, not even thinking, not even knowing.
So were you going to say something, Simone? So let me ask the two fellas here too. When you go outside, are you always looking around like paranoid? Like, I want to make sure I'm okay, nobody's coming behind me, or you like everything's fine?
I don't know. I would like to say like, if I'm around people that I'm not comfortable with, probably I'd be like paranoid looking around, or if I'm like in an unfamiliar place, I'll probably be looking around. But if I'm with people that I'm comfortable with and I know that I'm be okay with, I don't be paranoid for real.
What about you, Christian?
Yeah, like what he said, kind of like when I'm by myself, I'm naturally always gonna look behind me, look around, look at my surroundings, see who I'm with. If I'm with people I know, I'm still gonna do that, but it's just like I feel more protected because we more in numbers. Even though a gun could kill all of us, we more in numbers.
And let me ask you, because like you wear a ski mask, right? Sometimes you wear a ski mask. Sometimes no, I want to see you with a ski mask, right? So in an environment where you wear a ski mask, if when you see somebody else with a ski mask, do you get that, man? What he got going on, dude? Why you got the ski mask on?
Yeah.
But you wear a ski mask. So what if I was in a store and I didn't know you and I see you with a ski mask? Would you want me to look at you like, man, what shorty got going on? But you a great kid. You a good kid though. But and again, I think that's the mirror that we see, with ourselves and how we look at ourselves as black men.
I think also what's important is how we transfer how we see ourselves. So, I may come to school one day and got some on my mind and just want to challenge another black man because that's how I'm seeing myself. Like I got to, that's a challenge for me. Whether it's ego tripping or whether it's because I got so much stuff going on and he looks happy, he looks fine, and I'm not fine. So you become my target because
you're happy.
Yeah. Or because I don't see that you maybe are carrying burdens either, right? And so the person that's happy is like, well, what's wrong with them? Right? But in my mind, I'm transferring that anger that I'm still holding on to to you, because why should you be the one that walk around happy and smiling and greeting everybody when I got all this stuff going on? But you don't know what I got going on. I just may know how to maneuver it or not think about it right at that point, but you don't know what I'm doing later.
Or mask it to the point.
Or mask it to the point that I think it done disappeared.
So that's what I was saying a while back, was like, I think even when you don't think you're wearing a mask, you're wearing a mask.
I think we're always wearing a mask in order to just get along or to get through the day. Like sometimes you get home and you're probably more tired than other days because you're more mentally drained.
You have to watch your mouth, watch your words.
Yeah.
Choose wisely, very fast too. You know, you don't got time to sit and give me a minute to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody asks you a question in the classroom, you don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, and your reaction time has to be like, I got to be on, right?
Gotta
because
be
if
on.
because if I'm not on, now what just happened to my class, or what just happened to?
I just told somebody I was gonna do something, didn't even feel like I was gonna do it. I just
Right.
lied.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was my word.
That
Like
was
if
my
I ever
word.
tell these guys, I'm gonna make sure this happens, I got to make sure it happens because of the generational cyclical. I got to make sure that I try to break those generation curses that they're always disappointed by a black man. Because sometimes that's the one that and that disappointment comes not because somebody tried to disappoint you on purpose. It just comes because of the stuff I dealt with as a kid, and I held it and I kept it bottled. And then when I became an adult, it was still bottled, and I did all these other things to try to.
And being told to get over it when you were disappointed.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Quick too. You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. And you're like, but I'm not all right.
Right.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, seriously. The rebuttals come that fast.
And so I think that's a whole nother piece. I'm gonna throw this last piece out on vulnerability because this goes along with what Mr. Shield said too. The strongest thing a man can do is put down his shield. You can't embrace your wife, your children, or your future if your hands are always busy holding up a weapon.
Man, I think they go back to even like that mask thing. Like sometimes we can like, and I think it's a bad thing. Depending on how you look at, like we can be at work all day, and we can smile every day, smile at the people that's not really our family, and go home and get them hell.
Because that's where we feel comfortable that we in charge.
Yep.
That's the old church thing where they say ushers are so mean at church because they ain't mean at home. They don't run nothing at home. But since they the ushers at church, they run it, right? And so it's the same thing. Like people who aren't in charge at other places that they want to be in charge of, that's where they come to other places. And you're like, why are they so mean all the time? Because, they're so unhappy with other things going on too.
And I think if you don't, somebody your significant other is the person that you definitely should, be able to open up to and be vulnerable to. And if you can't be vulnerable, not sure how explicit, but if you can't be vulnerable with somebody that you lay down with at night, that's a scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would even take it further that sometimes, I would say most times, a man can feel the hurt that another man has. And so I think sometimes we push like women to understand what we're going through, and sometimes they can't because of just the pressures that are put on us as men to perform in so many different ways. And sometimes it just feels different when I'm letting loose on with a man versus because if I'm letting loose with my partner, I got to also make sure that I don't let too loose that she be like, what did I got myself into?
Right.
This man ain't no real man type thing, So I think that's.
You gotta watch your level of disclosure.
Yeah, I mean, am I being fair in saying that?
I think you have to be balanced, especially with
Yeah.
a relationship, because you have to be able to give the woman her attention, be able to talk her language, her lingo, because you can't just be hard or rah-rah.
Yeah.
And then with your guys, I can't just come out just crying either. It has to be like a balanced piece where it's like, hey guys, I got this going on. I need to talk.
So young fellas, along with what we're saying, it's having a sanctuary with people in the sanctuary that give you peace.
Oh, that's perfect.
Say that again.
Having a sanctuary and having people in the sanctuary to give you peace, because the world is so crazy. Just a place to go to so you don't have to play those
Serenity,
games.
yeah.
Just do
Yeah.
it.
Well, you can take the mask off and just be like, this is me.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, this is good. We're going to cut it here. So that means you guys just got to stay tuned next week for another episode of The Invisible Ache. Appreciate you guys being here with us. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable in this, too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.
On that, we're out.
Clark out.
Yeah.